Market specialist John Jenkinson with you. Happy Thursday. Thursday means weekly export sales numbers. And here are those numbers that came out here this morning. Corn was over 1 million metric ton, 1.07 million metric ton to be exact. Soybeans, 731,500. Wheat, 461,300. Grain sorghum was a little bit less than last week, 107,200 metric ton. Upland cotton, and according to one trader we talked to earlier today, this is the reason, one of the reasons that he said the cotton kind of stumbled here today was because 93,400 running bales, a little bit anemic, and the rice at 32,200 metric ton. Now to the futures we go, and here at midday, July, well, I guess we're an hour away from the close, a little bit more than an hour. July up 1 1/4 at 645.5. New crop December down 2 cents a bushel at 544.5. And that 544.5 is just about right smack dab in the middle of that trading range so far. For soybeans on the July contract down 10 1/4 at 1503.5. Went down and made a new low here, 1501 1/4 earlier, but what a wide trading range that is. The Chicago wheat for July is up 2 3/4 at 725.5, and that again is about in the middle of the trading range. July Kansas City wheat down 3 1/4 at 693 1/4, and now Minneapolis wheat, it's up 7 1/2 at 739.5. A lot of strength there. We talked about the tumble in the cotton market. We've come off of the earlier lows with December down 204 now at 84.03. Brian Hoops, good to talk to you today. Thanks a lot for joining us here. First of all, let's talk about this entire market as a whole. We saw some pretty wide bull spread trading taking place. Some of that's narrowed and settled down a little bit. Where do we stand at this point with the traders and how they look, especially the row crops, both soybeans and corn? Let's start there.
Well, yeah, good to talk with you, John. You know, we've had like the third day of selling here coming into this market, and a lot of the forecasts are adding some rain across parts of Iowa into Illinois, and it's just going to come at a really perfect time frame as we are getting a lot of the crop put into the ground this week. I could see us maybe 40 to 50% seeded nationwide by Monday, and then rain on top of that. So it's kind of a real nice scenario. We're off to a good start. I think we're seeing the pressure against those new crop contracts. The old crop does seem to be trying to stabilize, and especially for corn, try and find some bounce in here. The export sales that you were talking about, they're really, nothing that stands out that much. Old crop sales for soybeans were an 8-week high. But these numbers for corn, soybeans, wheat, all well above the pace that we need to be on to meet the USDA forecast. But we have slowed down our exports considerably. We're still inspecting a lot of product that's being shipped out, but new sales have slowed quite a bit because of the higher price levels that we're at. And that has put our prices much more expensive compared to Argentina, especially for the corn market.
All right. Well, and the dollar today, and this is from time to time a factor in these markets, up 52 points at 96.45. And stay with us. More is coming up here on rural America's most important network. All right, let's go back over here to Brian Hoops. Brian, we've got a little bit of positive, a little bit of green on the screen over here in the cattle complex today.
Seen a good bounce here today. You know, the cutouts have been moving higher. There's a lot of people that thought maybe the boxes had topped out and were ready to turn lower. That has not been the case. They've been mostly firmer. The cash trade was a little bit softer, unfortunately, this week, but we've kind of priced in some lower cash news and starting to see a little bit of short covering. Now I think, though, the cattle market has entered into what you consider a technical downtrend, and we have to break that trend to get some buying interest once again. But overall, our supplies remain fairly tight. Going into the third and fourth quarters of this year, I think we'll see some higher prices coming at us, but it's going to take some time to get through a little bit of these cattle that have been pulled forward. And we don't have a backlog or anything, but it's just enough cattle here that has weakened the cash markets for a couple weeks.
A little over a $3 discount from April to June, and April goes off the board here today. So June, our next front month, 116.05. It's up 60 cents. August is up 102. We'll see what happens to that discount once we get April taken care of. Feeder cattle for May up 70, 135.67. August feeders up 105, and the September 151.80. That's up 90. And in the hogs, June hogs down 247, July hogs down $1.85. The August is down 155. What are your thoughts on this pork complex then?
Hey, if you looked at the export numbers this morning, they were very strong. Strong exports, but shipments were a marking year high for pork, 58.5 million tons. We had a little bit of a blip a couple weeks ago when we had negative sales, but since that time we've rebounded pretty strongly with some good sales, and the futures market rebounded. Contract highs yesterday in July through all the summer back month contracts. This market here is technically pretty strong. Looks like it's having a little correction today, but overall, cash markets have been moving mostly higher. Cutouts are higher, stronger. This market seems to be fundamentally still in a good shape.
So the technicals here are weighing on those fundamentals, do you think?
Yeah, it seems like, with the end of the month coming up, we're seeing a little bit of, position squaring, profit taking, if you want to call it that. We could see that. That means a little bit lower hog prices because they've had such a big run here in April. We could see some short covering in the cattle for the same bias. Okay.
Well, Brian, thank you so much for joining us here today on the Market Day Report. We're up 99 cents right now on the crude oil market, 64.85 a barrel. And when we look at the rest of that energy complex, well, ethanol is pretty quiet today at $2.33 a gallon. But diesel fuel, it is up almost 2 pennies at $1.95 a gallon. And RBOB gasoline is up just a shade over 2 pennies at $2.09 a gallon. Tammy, back to you.